San Lorenzo Village. Less than a year ago, an idea. Already a name in which hundreds of homemakers are taking pride in calling their own. Less than a year ago, an idea based upon a crying need. More and more people were pouring on you to work in the San Francisco East Bay District war plants. Shelter had to be provided for them. David D. Bohannon and the staff of his organization, an independent American enterprise operating with its own capital, looked beyond the immediate basic needs of war housing, looked to the future of more than 1,000 families living in a planned community. Dream, conceive, plan. Dream of the future American, born, raised in an atmosphere of good taste and living. Finding the site was difficult in this strategic and congested area. 300 acres were needed. 300 acres of available flat land within easy commuting distance to the 50 or more war industries located on the east side of San Francisco. Flat land, not marshy. Solid earth that would yield to cultivation so that planned landscaping could readily contribute to the beauty of suburban living. Land formerly used for truck gardening and orchards was found to be suitable in every respect and was purchased. Having found the location, the next move was to scientifically plan the ideal community in terms of building lots, the smallest 50 by 100, utilities, streets, and sidewalks. Space was provided and designs made for public service buildings, shops, a community center, an elementary school, playgrounds, and spacious parks. The houses? Easy enough to build 4 walls and a roof. But homes. 3-bedroom homes restricted by wartime housing to 1,000 square feet and built under the most stringent wartime conditions. It was a challenge to American ingenuity to build a home of quality and taste that could be sold for less than $6,000, financed on terms to comply with the average wage of the war worker in the region. Homes planned as an integral part of a sound community, not just another drab, isolated war housing project. Speed was the byword. Heavy machinery was needed to level and grade, to prepare the ground. Heavy machinery that could rapidly push, shove, distribute 200,000 cubic yards of dirt to prepare for the solid foundation for an entire village, for a village mushrooming up from the flat land. The land must be well drained, no mud nor dampness. Dry foundations so vital to the health and well-being of future residents. Over 3 miles of storm drains were installed, and over a mile of open canal carries the storm water out to the San Francisco Bay. A network of 34 miles of sewer pipe was laid and connected to an adjacent metropolitan sewerage system. About 40 miles of various types of water pipe was installed. With precision, the plan was transferred from the blueprints onto the graded land itself. Machinery was soon at work, biting into the earth's surface, roughing out the foundations of the individual dwellings. spite of machines, hand labor was employed when needed. Ingenuously, the Bohannon Organization devised a mechanical digger to speed up the excavation for stepping stones and pier footings. The organization set up its own cement hopper, for 40,000 yards of concrete had to be laid, not only for building foundations, but for sidewalks and curbs as well. An endless stream of heavy trucks, like persistent ants, carried the materials away from the hopper out to the giant mixer mobiles, which were set up close to the job. Small, bug-like delivery cars filled up at the mixer mobile and scurried dizzily to dump their loads into the prepared forms. Concrete waits for no man. Here there is no place for idle hands. Machinery was used wherever possible to keep up with the almost continuous stream of materials. Nine 9,000 cubic yards of concrete had to be mixed with the curbs and sidewalks alone. $87,000 lineal feet of concrete curb, 330,000 square feet of sidewalk ribboned itself out directly from the mouth of the mixer mobile. Getting 9 million feet of lumber presented an almost insurmountable problem. Small mills from many miles away were canvassed. Nowhere enough 2x4s were available. Again, the ingenuity of this independent enterprise came to the fore. A centrally located cutting yard was set up on the job. 300 cars of lumber in heavy pieces and of various dimensions were unloaded by the cutting yard and stacked, ready to be cut into desired widths and lengths. Getting skilled labor was perhaps the greatest problem of all. The jobs were broken down, simplified. Lumber was pre-cut to finished lengths. Its ultimate position in the house structure was carefully marked. This system saved time on the job and could be handled by carpenters who may never have tackled a house before. The assembly line principles for which America is famous were adapted to house construction. Principles grown up hand in hand with private enterprise, free competition, those bywords of democratic living that have made America the greatest industrial nation in the world. The David D. Bohannon Organization, a name synonymous with this development, a staff of independent thinkers able to conceive ideas, express them, put them into practical operation. Streamlined construction, pre-cut and marked. A fast, almost foolproof system. Mass production technique. Groups of 300 houses cut and marked at one time. Rough lumber for the rafters ran along the mass production line. First, the ends were cut off square. The next man made the angle cut, which fits against the ridgepole. The next man cut a notch for the eave. Another man made the bevel tail cut. For speed and economy, only the exposed part of the rafters, the part to be painted, was planed. All the necessary structural lumber for one house was stacked together. This was called the house load. Each load contained the necessary amount of lumber to rough frame an entire house. These loads were carefully planned in sequence so that the supports and floor joists used first were placed on top of the stack. The lumber needed next, placed just beneath, and so on down the line. The load was moved from the yard to a gantry crane, then loaded onto the trucks which carried it out to the job.